Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ramadan Transformation Day 4. Now, yesterday I introduced to you something that I called the inside out paradigm. And I said to you the fact that it's a paradigm is a pretty big deal, but I didn't really fully explain why or why that's so important. So I want to explain that right now. And really what I want to get into right now is what I want you to get the significance of the inside out paradigm for psychology and for your future. This isn't just about the impact it will have on psychology and spirituality and stuff like that. I don't really care about that, to be totally honest with you. I care about you. I care about the impact this has on you. And I know from having worked from my own experience and from having worked with a lot of people that when you get this paradigm shift, and it is a paradigm shift, when you get it, it causes huge changes in your life. And so what I want to point you towards is today's session is all about what it means to be experiencing a paradigm shift. Paradigm shift. What does that really mean? You know, a few years ago, not even that long ago, maybe, I don't know what, a few hundred years ago, every human being on Earth thought that the Earth was flat. Even some Muslims believed it. Now, some Muslims were more educated and they knew a bit more about physics and stuff like that. And, they understood, the Quranic verse that suggests that the Earth is spherical. But even before that, at the same time, there were undoubtedly Muslims who believed the Earth was flat. And there was certainly a lot of the rest of the world, pretty much all of the Christian world at the time believed that the Earth was flat and believed that heaven was up there, hell was down there, and the Earth is flat. Now, here's what's really interesting about that. And, when they believe that, they also believe that the sun, if you wake up in the morning and you go outside, it looks like the sun goes around the Earth. And so there was a time when every human being on planet Earth believed that the sun went around the Earth. So even when every human being believed the sun went around the Earth, and even when every human being believed the Earth was flat, the Earth was never flat, and the sun never went around the Earth. Even though everyone believed it was like that. When people started figuring it out and they learned more about physics and that kind of thing, they were like, oh, the Earth is spinning on its axis. That's why it looks like the sun's going around the Earth. Wow, gosh, that makes all of our calculations that we've been trying to make about astronomy suddenly make so much more sense now. And a paradigm shift occurred for astronomy. When Newton realized Newton's laws, when he realized the law of gravity, all of a sudden, it made so much more sense. Oh, that's why our feet are on the ground. When, I want to say Semmelweis, but when people discovered germ theory, before people discovered germ theory, they believed that bad smells causes disease. So if you were going to go out of the house and you were going to go in a place where there's a lot of people, it's really important that you wear a lot of perfume because bad smell causes disease. And if you want to keep disease away from you, you've got to be smelling good, right? So they wouldn't wash their hands when they left the bathroom, but they'd make sure they sprayed themselves with perfume because they don't want to catch any disease. But then a paradigm shift occurred when people discovered germ theory and they realized, oh no, actually bacteria is what causes disease. I'm suggesting to you, the thing that I'm proposing to you is that the inside-out paradigm is for psychology what germ theory was for biology and medicine, what Copernicus realizing that, people realizing the Earth is spherical and the sun goes around the Earth, and the Muslims who realized that, and some people say they realized it because the Quran says the Earth is spherical and it suggests that stars go around, but I don't think so. I think they did a lot of calculations, figured it out, and then read the Quran and were like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense. Look, even the Quran is reconfirming it, right? Well, it's the same with this. when you get the absolute truth of the inside out paradigm, you're going to go back to the Quran, and it's suddenly going to make so much more sense. And that's what I want to see happen for you. And I want you to think about something before we close. Sailors would literally be up in the middle of the night praying. A sailor would be awake in the middle of the night praying to Allah to not let him fall off the face of the earth because he wants to return home to his family. Like, that would be his worry. He would literally have sleepless nights, so much thinking around, gosh, I don't know if we should go that way or that way because, we don't want to find the edge of the earth and fall off. Right? Now, imagine what a relief it would have been for that guy who was praying to not fall off the edge of the earth, to find out that the earth was spherical and you actually can't fall off the edge of the earth. I think if you tried explaining it to him, he would have been like, what do you mean? Look, you're telling me that, he would have been really confused. But the fact of the matter is, you can't fall off the edge of the earth because the earth is spherical. And it's gravity that keeps your feet on the ground. That's another thing. Back then, they would have been really confused. Like, hang on, if the earth is round, how come I don't fall off the earth? Right? Because they didn't know how gravity worked either. Yeah, so it would have seemed obviously true to everyone that if you're saying the earth is round, you're crazy. And if you're saying I can't fall off the edge of the earth, you're also crazy. And if you're saying the earth is round and nobody falls off it, that's also crazy, right? Because they didn't get it. They just didn't get how it worked. We have been operating our whole lives without really getting that feeling is inextricably bound with thought. Because nobody ever taught you. How could you possibly know that unless somebody pointed it out? Now, you might have heard other people say that thought has something to do with feeling. I'm not saying thought has something to do with feeling. I'm saying they're like this. They're like this. You can't separate them. You can't separate them. Anytime, if you're going through a bad time right now, the number one thing you're probably underestimating is the role of thought to create the situation. People sometimes get worried about that because they think I'm saying, just change your thoughts and then you'll change your life, as though you have complete control over your thoughts. I'm not saying you have complete control over your thoughts. I'm saying your thoughts absolutely determine your feelings. They're inseparable. They're two sides of the same coin. That's the inside out paradigm. And when you start to deeply understand this, you'll experience a paradigm shift, because there are so many assumptions you've been making that you haven't even realized you've been making, because you've been operating from a paradigm that never even really existed. You've been putting on perfume hoping to not get a disease. It's been a psychological perfume called positive thinking, but we'll come back to that one. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace, love, and blessings of Allah be with you always.